Hello YouTube, this is Super Fanboy Guy again, and today I'm bringing you a new Versus System deck profile. This deck I call the Injustice Gang Concealed Beats. Now, if some of you have seen my live stream from July, this is one of the decks that was in the video, and I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit more detail about this deck a little bit. So, to talk about the basic strategy of the deck, every character in your deck, with the exception of one 4-drop, is concealed. Now, the reason why we have a bunch of concealed cards here is because we want to, protect our characters from being stunned or KO'd. So that's why we have a majority of concealed characters for this deck. And then another strategy that we have is there's a lot of cards, character cards, in this deck that gain certain boosts and certain effects when you don't have the initiative. So this is a deck that you typically want to have on the even, so you want to not have the initiative on the odd side of it, the odd initiative that is. And this is a pretty basic deck. It's just your standard, smash your opponent's face. And if you're really lucky with this deck, you can win by, I believe, turn 3 or turn 4. Depending on what some of the cards you get in your hand, in your opening hand, what are some of the characters that you have in your opening hand as well. But this deck doesn't run any equipments or locations, so it's just characters and plot twists. So we're going to kind of go into more detail into the deck. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting with the 1-cost characters, we run 4 copies of Catwoman, Cat of 9 Lives, and 4 copies of the Penguin, Gentleman of Crime. Catwoman, whenever she attacks a player directly, you gain 2 endurance. And Penguin, whenever the Penguin attacks a player directly, each player draws a card. Now, some people might think that, giving your opponent another card may be kind of not a good idea because, you're putting more cards in their hand, you're giving them more pieces. But this is really good on your end because you're also trying to draw into a lot of more of the plot twist cards that are going to be dealing more damage to them. So in that kind of perspective, it's really good to draw cards because you want to draw the plot twist cards and to pretty much beat down their characters or beat down their face as fast as possible because you want to win really fast with this deck. So having that extra card draw is always good. And then going back to Catwoman for a second, gaining 2 endurance can be relative, and she's a 2/1, so you might need the extra attack because it might be that last point of damage you need. So that's why we run her. For the 2-cost characters, we run 4 copies of Johnny Quick and 2 copies of Superwoman. So these are the first characters that we're going to show that have effects when you don't have the initiative. Starting with Johnny Quick. When you don't have the initiative, he can't be stunned while attacking. So it's really good, being stunned, not being able to be stunned while attacking, can be pretty useful. And then Superwoman, she gets +3 attack while you don't have the initiative. Again, she's also good extra boost, but may not be relevant depending on what is on the field. So that's why we run only 2 copies of her, because the extra attack could be good to, again, push for those extra points of damage. For the 3-cost characters, we run 4 copies of Owlman, Earth 3, and I forgot to mention that most of these characters are also Earth 3 characters. So his ability is other characters you control get +1/+1 while you don't have the initiative. Again, it goes with the whole beatdown theme, but also adds a little defense to your stats if you need it for whatever reason. Like if you have Johnny Quick, he can become a 4/3 with Owlman on the field. So if you want to attack into a character that has 2 attack, that way you don't get stunned back, but not that it matters because Johnny Quick doesn't get stunned anyway. But maybe for the Superwoman, for an example. So he's our only 3-cost character we run in the deck, and again, that's 4 copies. And he's also a 5/4 for a 3-drop. It's decent stats, so running 4 copies just seemed like the right thing to do in this deck. The 4-cost characters, we run 1 copy of David Clinton Chronos, Timetwister, 1 copy of Jemm, Son of Saturn, and then 4 copies of Ultraman, Earth 3. Now, David Clinton is the only visible character in our deck, and what he does is you can discard an Injustice Gang character card. Target opponent gains the initiative at the start of the combat phase this turn. Use only during the build phase. So we only run 1 copy of him because we may not may not need to gain the initiative, but I also have a group of friends that I play multiplayer with, so it's kind of fun to discard a card so somebody doesn't gain the initiative. You just kind of, tick them off, just get them angry so they'll never have the initiative. But yeah, just one copy of him, and then one copy of Jemm. He's a reservist. To recruit, discard a character card with concealed. Again, he's a 9/8 for a 4. He could take out most 5 drops, but you may not necessarily need him all the time. But he's still good stats, and he can help push in that extra damage. And then Ultraman, what he does while you don't have the initiative, you don't take stun endurance loss from attackers you control being stunned. So it's kind of like invulnerability, but it's a little different because it's only attackers. And he also has flight and range. He's a 7/7, and adds to the good beat part, like the beatdown part of the engine. Trying to hit your opponent for as much damage as you can. So that's why 4 copies of him is pretty good. And then for the 5-cost characters, we run White Martian, Earth 3. We run 4 copies of him, and he has an ability. Other Injustice gang characters you control get +2 attack while you don't have the initiative. So he's pretty much good for, giving your other characters some boost, some extra attack. So hopefully if you don't win by turn 3 or turn 4, definitely turn 5, if you don't have the initiative, will get the extra damage that you need to, finish the job. And, the other thing too is he has flight and range, so he can attack, multiple characters that he wants, so it's good in that. So now we're going to move on to the plot twist cards, starting with the 1-cost plot twist. We run 4 copies of Crack Shot, 4 copies of Flying Kick, and 4 copies of Mega Blast. Crack Shot, target character gets +3 attack while attacking this turn and has range this turn. And then Flying Kick, target character has flight this turn. While attacking this turn, it gains +3 attack. So Crack Shot and Flying Kick are kind of the same card, except Crack Shot gives you range and Flying Kick gives you flight. But also remember, both cards are saved for the turn. So it's not just for the attack, it is for the turn. And then Mega Blast is target support row character has range this turn. While attacking this turn, that character gets +4 attack. Now, again, another card that says for the turn and not just for the attack. And also remember, it's only for support row characters. So if you don't have a character with range, you put him in the support row, and then you can activate this and give him range. But also remember, your front row characters will not get the boost from this, even though it says they get the target support row character has range this turn, so it has to be in the support row. And then while attacking, that character gets +4 attack. So got to be a little wary on how you play this. I normally just put it on the support row characters, so that they support row, they definitely have range, so they can attack from the back row, get the +4 attack. For 2-cost plot twist, we run 4 copies of Secret Files. Play of only control an Injustice gang character. Each player in turn searches his deck for an affiliated character, reveals it, and puts it into his hands. So it's another card for you to search out for your character card, so you can get, some of the, so you can curve out. What that means is curve out means make sure you hit your 1-drop, your 2-drop, your 3-drop, your 4-drop on their respective turns. So it's just a good card for that. Now, I'll kind of talk over later in this video. This is kind of like a budget version of the deck. If you wanted to step up this deck and put a little bit more money into it, you could put in Mobilize instead. But I wanted to make this deck to be kind of a more budget friendly, because this is a fairly cheap deck to make if you leave out some of the staple cards, like I said, like Mobilize and Call in a Favor is another search card that you could use in replace of this one. But yeah, 4 copies of Secret Files for the 2-cost plot twist. For the 3-cost plot twist, we run 4 copies of All Too Easy, 3 copies of Big Leagues, and 4 copies of Blinding Rage. All Too Easy is target Injustice gang attacker you control gets +1/-1 this attack for each card in target opponent's hand. So it's a good way if you're playing against a deck that builds a bunch of cards in their hand. You can become like a 10 attack. Yeah, you lose the defense, but a nice combo with this card is you could put it on the Johnny Quick, and then if you can't get stunned for the initiative, you could just get a big attack in and deal some damage. Big Leagues is if all characters you control share at least one affiliation, target attacker you control gets +4 attack this attack. So again, it's just another nice 4 attack. You want to try to maximize as much damage as you can with your plot twist. So giving them +4 attack is definitely a way of achieving that. And then 4 copies of blinding range. What that does is target attacker you control gets +4 and -4 this attack. Now, keep in mind that these 3 cost plot twists, they are only for the attack as well, not for the turn, like the flying kick and the crack shot. So it is only for the attack. But again, you know, you want to try to maximize the damage in your plot twist as much as you can. And these are all on these are 3 cost plot twists, so it helps you really try to kill your opponent as fast as possible. For the 4 cost plot twist, we run 4 copies. Probably the most well-known, pump up attack card, which is Savage Beatdown. And this is target attacker gets +5 attack this attack. And this is just a really good card for, you know, the most value, the most damage you'll get in is mostly a 5 attack. Now, there is also another card called Armageddon, which does +6 attack. But I think that one is it's a threshold cost of 6, so you're going to have to wait a while for that one. But in this deck, you don't want to slow down. You know, you want to still gain your momentum and try to maximize the damage that you're dealt to your opponent. But yeah, Savage Beatdown is just perfect for that, and we run 4 copies of that. And if you wanted to be a more budget-friendly deck, and maybe Savage Beatdown I think is like $10 or $12 each, so you could also put it in copies of Crushing Blow, or what's the other one? Grudge Match. You know, the kind of, if you don't have the money, you know, those are some cheaper options if you want to do that. But yeah, Savage Beatdown. And that's pretty much it for the deck. And so, like I said, this is kind of like a budget build. I mean, some of the cards are mostly DC Legends, which those cards are really hard to find right now since it was a low print run set. But they're still fairly cheap. And if you wanted to make some other cheaper options, you know, you can just take out the more expensive plot twists and put in some like cheaper stuff that I recommended earlier. And, you know, this deck is just, it was one of the first DC beatdown decks that I played. And I know it seems that, I know I say that because I didn't play a lot of DC when it was first in circulation. I was always a Marvel guy. So I just felt like this was like the first DC deck that I played from DC Legends that was a beatdown deck, and I just had fun with it. And I hope you guys have fun with it too. Please make sure to, you know, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If there's any changes that you would make to the deck, you know, please leave them in the comments as well. And let me know what you guys think. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.